Hello. Hello, my microphone's hopefully working. Yeah, of course. It's because it knows who people wanna listen to. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Off the Rift podcast, episode 7. Finals of LCP all done and dusted. Something about answering machines here, or I don't know. There's something to do with answering machines. I'm Vestion. Mercury was supposed to be here, but unfortunately he can't get his mic working. And then, of course, we've got joined with us Logan from the LCP. How is everyone doing except Mercury, who's not talking to us?
So everyone is basically just me doing really, really well there, Vestion. Thank you so much for introducing us. And I'm excited to be here to talk about the LCP split and that finals week we just had.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty insane week, all things considered. I mean, coming in, it was like there was 4 teams remaining. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, I think everyone here would agree you'd expect it to be DCG or Team Secret Wales to be those two in the finals. However, if any of the teams made it there, I wouldn't have been particularly surprised. I think SHG making it as far as they did was like a pleasant surprise to everyone. I think it's really cool to see just the turnaround that team has had since last year. How much of it can be attributed to the new coaching staff, right? Corgi, a hugely accomplished coach in the past with PSG, with EDG, now coming into SHG and really lifting up that team. Of course, Aria coming across, Van One joining, Vista returning. A lot of changes have led them to find a lot of success. Ground Zero, I mean, for their first ever split, was a great performance for them. And to come in fourth, there was some big problems at the start of the split for them, or not problems, but more like growing pains, getting used to the league. There was short notice before they joined the league. So I think fourth is a massive result for them. But of course, the big talking points are DCG and Team Secret Wales, who were able to make it to that final. So Logan, I mean, obviously you were there in the ground. Uh, what did you think of the finals?
I thought the finals were fantastic. I thought we got spoiled night 1, 2, and 3 with like two best of fives and like 2 5 games and a 4 game. But the grand final was such a surprise, being a 3 game one-sided stomp. Closer game, but I don't know. Team Secret Wales just found like they got an extra gear in that game, their Vestion. And as you were saying, GZ, their first split and they've made it to playoffs. Well done. They should hold their heads high and be so proud. SHG, LJL's representative, they were the last partnered team for the LCP, so they made a really good run there. And yeah, Garm and CFO being knocked out so early, frankly, a surprise, but it is what it is. They were just the worst team on the night.
Is that your mic working yet, Mercury, mate?
Working on.
All right, so it's not working. All right,
Yeah.
it's not working. That's the long way of saying it's not working. Um, So as we headed in, obviously, I think obviously you brought up CFO and Garm being eliminated, and I think what's really impressive about that to me was it wasn't DCG or Team Secret Wales that eliminated them. It was
Yeah.
SHG and Ground Zero, the two teams you'd kind of less expect to do it. Now, I will say, admittedly, I think heading into the GZ versus CFO series, I didn't know who to expect to win, so it's not that surprising to see GZ win it because I think ultimately, calling a spade, CFO are quite weak in comparison to what they were last year.
Yeah.
And while I don't want to be too harsh, I do think, and I've said this repeatedly, I do think 2274 looks like he wasn't ready to be promoted up into the LCP from the PCS. And that's not to discredit the ability he might have in the future, but I think it's just showing sort of in the inconsistencies we've seen in CFO, where a lot of their games rather have sort of needed some crucial decisions made from the support, and he hasn't been able to provide them the way that Kaiwing was able to in the past. Now, obviously, high hopes for him in the future. Young player, 17 years old. He's got a lot of room to time and room to grow. But for now, I mean, a huge accomplishment again to SHG for eliminating Garm 3-0, which was, I think, a surprise to everyone, and also GZ 3-1 against CFO. I really think that set the stage for how this rest of this year can look, because now it's kind of up anyone's game, right? I think we have Team Secret Wales at the top of the pedestal, definitely the team that deserves to represent us, but then it's very much a lot of question marks below them.
Yeah, for sure. And just checking in, Mercury, do you have your volume? I saw a double
It's
thumbs
working
up
now.
ripped there.
It's popping up twice. Why is it popping up twice? That's awesome. Okay, cool. I think it's working, but I think it's incredibly soft. Hang on. There we
Let
go.
me unmute.
There we go.
Oh my god, I need
Oh.
to turn you down.
Oh, I think we're back. Sorry, I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Someone's played with my
Yep.
my interface. I think we're all good. Yeah,
All
we're
right,
back.
we're good. Someone
We're
being
back.
you.
Yeah. Probably. It probably was me. I probably actually bumped it. But yeah, I
We
mean,
call that a blue panda moment.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
an
cool.
incredible performance from these teams. I think, I mean, we were talking about it before we came on live, but like, our predictions sort of got thrown out the window, our power rankings for the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
You had Team Secret Wales at like 5th, I think, overall, Ben.
Something like
I mean,
that.
you did guess DCG. I didn't have too much faith in them. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, Hawks, sort of to echo your points from earlier, it's good seeing a team that, you know, historically has done pretty poorly in the LCP, right? They peaked at 6th last year, and it wasn't even that like overall that
Convincing.
good because the teams below are DFM and Chiefs. It's
Yeah.
now come in. I think Arya's made a huge difference on this roster.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like we saw it across the series they played on this weekend. Arya just looked like a demon.
Yeah. I think it's no surprise. Oh, sorry. I think it's no surprise that the only game GZ won was the game that Jimmy and didn't just feed mid.
Yeah.
I think Arya has been such a catalyst for that team.
Jimmy didn't look like he had any answers into Arya in those finals games, and it was like unusual form, I would have to say. But I definitely have to credit Evie as well. In my opinion, he was such like an anchor point. He was so strong. He was in all the right places he needed to be at the right times. Even the games that SHG lost, he still was ahead of his counterpart in that top side. Like he ran that top lane against GZ.
Oh yeah, he completely destroyed Yijang. I think in the lane for most of the games, Yijang and him were pretty even. But in the game that counted, right, that last game that they played together, the Olaf versus Renekton, he just completely destroyed Yijang, which I think is like the first time this entire year someone has gone against Yijang in lane and came out like ahead at all almost, but at that level of being ahead
Convincingly.
was really yeah, it was really
Yeah.
surprising. And I think what I always like to do is like compare him to last year, right? Because he was pretty bad last year, to be blunt. He was kind of down a lot of gold every game, dying a lot every game. This year, well, at least this split so far, he has looked an incredible amount different. He's looked so much better for that team, so much more stable. And is it anything to like? Could it be what the coaches are doing? Could it be what the Van One's providing in that jungle role, or what Arya's the pressure he provides in the mid lane? I don't know, but what is certain is that Evie is playing a whole hell of a lot better than he did last year.
Even in that game
agreed.
3 like loss to DCG, he was putting in so much work, trying desperately
Yorick,
to sweep them. And it was
Admittedly, he
just,
was Yorick.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. No, but
Yeah.
even still, like he, I guess we'll sort of go through the series as we go. But DCG as well, we talking about Hawks, ended their run with a reverse sweep, the second ever reverse sweep in the history of the region. It took them a while to get going, I think, especially, man, that game too. Like picking Kalista into Poppy, it's like I don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Even Hawks, like they try and salvage it for DCG by picking Ezreal for themselves, and it just doesn't work.
I'm so.
Yeah.
I was about to curse. I'm so sick of this Ezreal champ, man. Okay, being entirely honest, like obviously I don't like this Ezreal champ, but it's not because Ezreal itself is a bad champ. It's because teams are picking it as a crutch to try and survive lane phase. They survive the lane phase, and then they are just completely fucking useless in team fights. Like I'll always use Ground Zero games because I pay the most attention to them. So the Ground Zero game that we played against SHG, and we had Ezreal. We had an Ezreal picked last against a Cassante, an Ari, and a Phelios Thresh. So you're not going to win lane, which you really need to do. And you're against a whole bunch of mobile champs. So you're not going to be landing skill shots in team fights. And you don't have any setup. You have no hard CC on the team. So that, again, is not going to allow you to land any of the impactful damage in team fights. So it's just completely useless. It is a completely useless pick. You're not going to feed, but you're also not going to do anything. And I think in the AD carry, especially with how many good AD carries we have, you can't get away with doing that. And almost no team at this point is picking Ezreal in a winning position, and almost no team's picking Ezreal and winning at all. So I think like we really need to overcome this like this crutch of just having to go even in lane. And if you do have that crutch, then pick something different like Misfortune. Look how impactful that champ has looked over the course of this weekend. There were so many games that were won simply off this Misfortune's, like, it might not even kill anyone, but it's put out an ult and no one
Yeah.
can walk into a team fight. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Xayah as well, which teams are finally starting to realize actually exists. You've got even like Jinx as well. Like Jinx is a solid pick in a lot of matchups. It's like, why are we picking the Ezreal? Why are we picking Jhin in these matches where they're just not able to output the same amount of consistent damage as these other threats?
Yeah. I think drafting's been a big problem. And I will say, in the finals, is DCG's drafting was appalling, while Team Secret Wales drafting was really, really good. I think that series finally gave me a glimmer of hope for us at First Stand, because I think what the coaching staff put together in terms of the draft and how it was executed in game was the most flawless execution of draft and game that we've seen all split. And so, like, it's very, very late for it to happen. Is it going to continue happening? I don't know, but it was a really, really positive look just ahead of what's going to be our first international.
I think DCG's drafting over the course of the entire weekend looked pretty poor. It wasn't even just that game. I mean, it was a mixture of the drafting looking poor and them looking really bad. Like they almost got reverse swept. So they almost got swept twice, and they actually got swept once. And it was just a lot of issues that need I guess, is that across the board probably the biggest thing that these teams need to work on is just draft? Like, obviously fundamentals as well are like, but overall, I think the drafting is the most consistent thing that a lot of our teams are struggling with.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, I think with how messy the games have been, like, drafting isn't actually the biggest issue, right? Like, I think you can put yourself in a much better position to win the games, but unfortunately, if you're going into those games and just feeding, you're going to lose anyway. And while no one's actively like running it down or anything like that, but like, again, I'll use GZ as an example. Like, we've picked a perfectly okay draft. I think it was, or at least an okay mid lane matchup, right? In the Ari versus Aurora, and we got solo killed at level 2. That's just unacceptable. And so, like, it doesn't matter what you draft there. If you're dying level 2, you're just probably losing the game. So, like, there are bigger issues than the draft, but I think the draft is the most consistent issue that every team is facing, I think is what I'd say.
God, I'm just remembering that the Thursday game where DCG game 2 they just first picked Jarvan. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
exactly.
are we
Yes,
doing?
yes. But we just had an entire Worlds not that long ago, like 4 or 5 months ago, where the patches, like,
He
it's
went
different,
winless.
but it's not. The Java, he didn't end up going winless.
Oh well,
but
yeah,
he
he was like
0 and
winless
8
through the
to
first,
begin with.
yeah.
Yes, because everyone kept first picking him, and it would be like, okay, we've first picked Jarvan, and they've just picked Aurora and Corki. It's like, okay, well, who's Jarvan ulting? No one. And now LCP started doing it. We haven't learned from 4 months ago. Like, it's not that long ago. It's not like it was season 4. You know, like we can't first pick Jarvan because he's got such a glaring weakness in not being able to deal with mobile carries, and we've started to do that now, and it's also seeing no success. So it's very bewildering, you know. And to be honest, other regions are dealing with it too. I mean, JDG, as much success as they've had, Ginger's been picking the Jarvan blind and being punished for it as well. So it's not something unique just to our region. It is something that happens globally. But like, look, I'll say it. I don't think we're as good as LCK. I don't think we're as good as the LPL.
Hot take.
If you want to beat them, you've got to try and find a way to do it that doesn't just play their style. You've got to be unique, right? Like that's what NA and EU have kind of become. They're not better than LCK in terms of their raw mechanics, but you'll sometimes see a team get really wild and really creative and smart, and that's how they'll beat them. And I think that's a way we should look at it as well.
And that's worked for those regions in the past as well. Like, you know, like mine goes to Team Liquid picking the Lux mid into Zoe at MSI, right?
G2,
everything G2 did at that event as well, with the Pike and all that, and obviously into Worlds that year. That they just picked Pike everywhere. I loved it.
Yeah,
but speaking,
it's good.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
And we're sort of like you mentioned, seeing it with Team Secret Wales, and it is giving me, like you said, a little bit of hope, heading into First Stand. But speaking of which, First Stand, it is just under 2 weeks until it begins. All of the teams except for the LPL teams are locked. As of when we're recording this, JDG versus BLG, one of them will go. It starts at like 5 my time, so it's like 2.5 hours from now. You guys will, it'll be uploaded tomorrow, so you probably know the winner by now. I'm hoping it's JDG because I want to see Junjin and Hongkyu internationally
yeah,
again.
yeah.
But looking at the field, I guess, how do you think we're gonna fare going into that event?
I think we're going to land middle of the pack. I frankly don't think we could handle Gen G in the
No.
form that they're in right now.
No, I saw that final, man.
Um,
Yeah.
The LCP finals was so short that I was immediately able to switch over to the LCK final,
Yeah.
and that was a 3-0
We
sweep
did-
as well.
we did too in the studio. We just were
Yeah.
like, right, we're done. We went in and we caught the start of the game one. And we're like, great. And we watched that 3-0 sweep for BNK Fear X. But yeah, I definitely think Team Secret Wales by far and away is not the worst team that is at first stand. I definitely think we stand a solid chance of making it to the middle of the pack, potentially taking a couple of games, but I definitely don't see us kind of like getting to the semis or grands.
Yeah, because the format is it's two groups of 4. Top 2 teams go on. So if we get drawn into like Fearex, top seed from
NAEU,
like, if we get Lion,
Brazil.
Fearex, Loud or something like that, we are fine. But if we're up against
We
like
could do
Gen
that,
G,
yeah.
G2, and whoever else, I'm like, oh god.
I think we can beat G2.
I think we could beat G2. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's gonna be I know.
You're putting too much stock in the name. I think
No,
we can absolutely beat G2.
I'm seeing Caps, man. Like he's in good form as always. That's the thing. Like,
Have you seen Dyer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man.
yeah,
like,
no,
like,
fair. But like, I think
have you
actually no.
seen Pun?
I was gonna say Histo versus
Bro.
Scumon's gonna be a wipe. I will say in terms of us, like we're gonna wipe them in that way. Like Scumon's, he's good, but he's not Histo good, and we saw that in the finals.
But-
what
but
Histo looked like.
I agree with you. G2 is in good form. I just think that Team Secret Wales is in better form, and that
Yeah.
if they do have a matchup, I think TSW is going to come out on top over EU. I think we're better than the LC. We're better than LEC. We're better than LCS, and we're better than CBLOL.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we might be better than second seed LCK, possibly second seed LPL.
I mean,
I
Dyer's
actually think
probably
LPL might
Dyer's
be
better than Vikla, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, but there's
Yeah.
more than just the one player. And the
Yeah.
thing is, it's really hard to tell is that BFX play in LCK, right? So they're playing against T1, they're playing against Gen G, so it's a lot easier to look worse. To be honest, like it is just
And
a lot
it's-
easier to look worse.
And I mean,
Yeah,
we're
it's so much
probably going to beat
higher.
Europe because they're
Yes.
doing best of ones in the regular season.
Yeah,
Like, what is that?
Imagine in
That's
the
actually
year
so
of
crazy.
2026,
the big 26.
we're
Yeah.
doing best of ones. Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. But look, I think ultimately one thing that does like surprise me about Team Secret Wales this year, that it actually gives me quite a lot of hope in them, is that their worst player, I think by far, has looked like Eddie, and he still looked
yeah.
good. So like, and
Everyone
like
on that
last year, he
team
was their
looks
best
like
player.
a demon.
Yes,
He-
Eddie looked
like-
really good last year, and this year, like Pun somehow is looking like their best player a lot of the time, which never really happened in the past. But again, look at this: we're picking shit that makes sense, that isn't just what Gen G's playing, and it works. You know, like the volley bear, the whole first half of the split, they've stopped playing it now, but because they've just
Everyone
like,
just bans
okay,
it. Yeah.
yeah, everyone either bans
Yeah.
it or Nara's left open. And you can't play the
yeah.
volley bear and the Dinar, but it's always a threat, right? So you've always got that volley bear there. If for some reason you can make it work, you know he's going to be able to pull it out. But other than that, like he says, you know, as we touched on briefly, we saw the Scion Mundo set into it. There's nothing that can stop that. You can't do anything against the set. You know, even though half the time the Scion or the Mundo didn't go flying with him in his ult, it still does the damage.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
so
still
it's just
did
like
50% of the health bars.
Or
it did
100% with that
Shellsies at the
wind up.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haymaker Chelsea in the face and just wiped
That's back to your point, Vestion, right? That intelligent drafting.
Yes.
Like the moment he picked set, it was like, holy shit! Like that was the pick into this draft.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And-
honestly, that was also a game that he could have gone volley bear. You know,
Yep.
like that was a
Yep.
game that volley bear would have also made a lot of sense. But it's just showing that flexibility. Is set better than volley bear there? Yes. Can both of them be played? Yes. But it's like, okay, flexibility, and that's one thing that a lot of our teams haven't had. Team Secret Wales are now showing they do have it, which I think is very, very important.
And I think there've been very few games as well, like where Team Secret Wales have been behind, have made these like catastrophic mistakes. They are like they are the most consistent team in this region by far. Like DCG, I love them, but like some of those games are ugly. they have
So,
some ugly games.
Team Secret Wales literally only dropped one series, the entire LCP split one, including playoffs, and that
And it was to
was that
DCG in the
2-1
regular
against
season. Yeah.
DCG back in week like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just looked like they're on a tear ever since. And even in those 5 games in the upper bracket finals, it was not that close overall.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm-
it should have probably just been a sweep there
yeah.
too. To be honest, like DCG, and honestly, that has kind of been the story of the split for DCG. They kind of have been getting away with wins by the skin of their teeth. Like pretty much the entire regular season,
Yep.
they'd win a series, except in one of those games that they won, they were down like 4K gold. And there was like a mistake made that they capitalized on, which is credit to them, of course. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but it's just there's been a different level of consistency, as you brought up, Mitchell, between DCG and Team Secret Wales, and I think that really came to show itself in that grand final.
Absolutely. I want to ask you guys, and I pitched this earlier, but like, who is your split one MVP? Obviously, we've only had we've only had like over a dozen series, so it's not too huge of a sample size over too short of a time. But who is your like most valuable player of the split? And it doesn't even have to be from Team Secret Wales. It can be the most valuable player to a team that you've seen.
I mean that's a tough call, right? Because obviously the natural answer is the team that wins because they've got the best players, so it's more likely that they've got the MVPs. And like coming into the grand final, I think it was BA. He alone has like 3 player of the matches or something. Dyer has several. Like this team has proven themselves throughout the entire split. And like as a support main, I kind of do have to back my homie BA in. He was phenomenal. There was that game, I think it was in finals week. I think it was like day 2 or 3 when he walked into the brush. Where are we? Team Secret Wales. Yeah, it was match 5 against DCG. He walked into the brush, I think it was, blind on Nautilus and initiated a team fight that they ended up winning that they just absolutely shouldn't have. And he's just been able to frontline and put his positioning spectacularly to defend his AD. And that is part of why I think Eddie has been so strong, right? Eddie had a 100% win rate as on that Kaiser and Yunara through the regular split. And I think it's because BA was just enabling him so effectively. And objectively, stats wise, in the LCP playoffs, Eddie is the number 1 AD, and so is BA.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely fair.
I think for me, I got two answers for this. So I think for me, in terms of like the Team Secret Wales, I would actually put it to Pun, because in my mind, the amount of work he got done as a top laner is very, very difficult to pull off. He was, I mean, the Volibear games are very obvious where he was just literally tower diving his laner on repeat, and he had some other pop-off games. I mean, the set in that game 3, game 5, it didn't get anywhere close to that.
Never happened.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
I think the amount of work he was able to get done as a top laner is pretty unprecedented in today's League of Legends, in terms of competitive anyway. And so I was really impressed by that. But I actually think in terms of how important someone was to their squad, I'd give it to Chelsea. I think without Chelsea, DCG are losing like a lot more games. The amount of games that he as a support put on his back entirely, whether it be on Hook Champs or not, but obviously more often than not was Hook Champs, was really, really impressive. I think not many people in the support role can do that. And I think, again, like DCG were winning series only just so consistently, and he was absolutely the difference maker in almost every single one of those series. So I think, obviously, between me, it's between those two. I think you have to give it to Pun because he eventually won the split, but I think Chelsea is an honorable mention for me.
Both really good shouts, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
Like, Pun, you cannot fault that man. Like we called out on broadcast, he ran his lanes down. Like, I say that, obviously, in League events and everything.
Yeah.
But he ran those lanes so well
dog walked
that
them,
he
yeah.
demanded the enemies commit resources to him, which freed up the rest of the Rift. And he was able to soak that resource, sent to him as well, sometimes even coming out better. So, like, as you said, he just did things that most other top laners aren't doing.
That was
really
insane.
good shouts.
And I think in that finals as well, he was the big difference maker. And now, don't get me wrong, I think Florin has been one of the weakest laning. Obviously, there's Momo, but like aside from Momo, I think Florin's laning has been pretty weak. I think his team fighting's been nearly immaculate. But so often he's coming out of lane like 20, 30 CS down, even in even matchups, where I think that's a big hindrance to DCG.
Whereas you have Pun that's just as good in team fights as Florin, but much better in lane. And I think that's a huge difference maker in that finals and the upper bracket finals as well.
Oh, 100%. I think those are good pulls. I'm not gonna lie. I think for me it has to be Histo. But like with an asterisk, I think almost anyone on that roster, like
could get him.
Yeah. Like he looked so. He was never really the standout player of. Like he had a few games where he popped off and like was the sole factor, but his presence on the map, I don't remember a game this season where he was like absolutely behind. Like every single, he was just consistent the entire split, and for me, that was what ultimately allowed the rest of the lanes to pop off in the way they did. And obviously, huge credit to Dyer and Pun and even in the bot lane Eddie as well. But I think Histo was that force for them.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, like, in that grand final game with Histo on that Vi, he damn near 1v9'd.
That was crazy.
He was a menace on that Vi. Dyer got that early game advantage in the mid lane, unlocked Histo. He just ran that rift then.
Yeah, I think that was what I was going to say. I think it's... okay, I don't want to say it's easy, but like because Dyer, we actually found out his name is D-Ray. Little tidbit. But like, it's... Yeah, but anyway, so I still call him Dyer. I think it's like it's been a year and a bit now.
It's Australian brain.
But like, so Dyer, like, it was just so dominant in pretty much every lane. I think Hongshuo's the only person that really stood up to him in lane at all. But like then Histo to be so dominant in the jungle just made it pretty impossible to beat this team. Because they are by far the best mid-jungle duo. I think, Hongshuo could have made that argument for himself, but Pop9 does some funny gaming every now and then. Quite often, actually. He like finds himself pretty well out of position and forces Hongshuo into bad positions as well. But Histo and Dyer have been so consistent that, again, like, I mean, you think back to last year, right? CFO had so much success. Well, who was the best player in the entire league? It was Junja. And while Hongq was looking a little rough in split one, they were still able to get it done just because of how dominant Junja was in the jungle. And I think similar for Team Secret Wales, though I don't think Histo was quite at Junja level in terms of how dominant he is in his particular role. But it's a similar sort of idea. And I think he's getting to that position where maybe he could start to argue to be sort of as good as Junja, though it might take like a year or 2 years or something, but still.
I think overall, I was worried coming into the split. We discussed this a number of times about how the ceiling of the league is lower, but the average is higher than it was last year. I think the ceiling being lower is definitely still true, but I think the average is a lot higher than I expected. Like coming into this final, even the finals weekend, I wasn't 100% sold on which team we were sending internationally this year. And I think it's definitely true for the rest of the pack. I think that there is a lot of soul searching that needs to happen in the off season for DCG, for GZ, for these, even Hawks, right? These international, contestants. But overall, I'm really happy with Team Secret Wales in this position. I think Warhorse coming in is really unlocking this team and allowing it to even go further than when they had Taki, when they were doing even decently at Worlds. And I'm excited to see what they can do going into the rest of this year. But what do you think these teams, the other teams, I sort of touched on it before, but like in this offseason, what is the number one thing to work on?
It'll change from team to team, but like, and this is going to be something I will always say because teams will never sort of go out and do it. But I think like we just need to stop trying to do like look at what Gen G do and copy it. I think we're never going to find long-term success if all we're doing is trying to copy the players, the team that is best in the world at doing something. That's all you're going to do is like contend or like get slightly below them, in my opinion. And I think we sort of see that again, like we use historical anecdotes, right? Like G2 in the past, Team Liquid in the past, and these sort of things. But I think that's one thing I really want to see because it's too common in our league, in the LCP, and honestly globally, to just see teams not want to risk something that could potentially be really, really good out of fear of it backfiring. And I think the only time we really get to see new stuff is generally, to be honest, when either G2 or Inspired does something. Yeah. Right? We got the Mundo Jungle because
the Orn
Human started
Jungle
playing it
as well.
Yeah.
exactly. We started to
Oh,
see
thank you
these
for that.
picks that are,
Inspired. I've gotten a lot of I've gotten a lot of LP from that. So thank you.
yeah. But it's like it's these things, and I think like as well, like I mean, you look at a team like Vikings, man. They could actually beat absolutely any team in this league if they just continued to do their goofy stuff that no other team's doing because it was working for them. Randomly in the middle split, they stop, they start losing every game. But you know, like when they were doing this stuff, they were finding wins. Like this is something that I really, really want to see. Like there's no reason we can't do this. Like champs like Soraka go woefully missing in drafts. I think this champ is really ridiculously OP. I mean, you remember back to when every champ's building redemption. Well, Soraka has a redemption on a 3-second cooldown, man. You know, like it's champs that just like don't get utilized out of fear of failure. And I think we need to overcome that fear of failure because I think without overcoming it, we're always just gonna, you know, we're scared of failing, but because we're scared of failing, we keep failing. Is sort of how I view it.
Yeah, there's a
So
real
that's one thing I
stigma
want to see
around
every
some
team
picks, I
improve on.
think.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not until like EU pretty much start doing it that we get to see new stuff, which is like, I mean, credit to them for actually doing it, but like, still, there's no reason why we couldn't be the ones to do that, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've I won't say I've run out of talking points, but it was a pretty pretty crazy weekend overall. I almost have. I've touched on every beat that I've written down. I've run out of things to say.
I got one. I got one.
All right,
Logan,
let's hear
mate.
it. Let's hear it.
I want to hear Logan's like, his reflections on on how he thinks the split went. As you know, obviously coming in fresh tier 1 caster for the LCP. What are some things you think you've like learnt over the split, and how have you felt doing it? I guess is what I want to ask.
I definitely think I've learnt more about the team identities. I feel like some of these teams really do have sort of unique play styles. Like I was calling out around SHG, at least here in the LCP, they play with that Baron like no other team does. And it was good to see sort of DCG take that Baron sort of play to them and flip the script in that particular 3-2 that DCG did win. So I really liked learning and identifying team sort of styles. Team Secret Whales obviously being VCS, they brought that very VCS energy with them, extremely scrappy, willing to fight at a moment's notice, anywhere, anytime. So, and becoming more familiar with those sorts of things definitely helped. But yeah, learning like over the split, just the sort of the flows of the shows and those little tidbits to like throw to one another and matching energy, like when you're play-by-play is like really, really hype. You've got to kind of rise to meet him and then bring it down, kind of thing. So like learning all of that, it was really, really insightful, and I feel more ready than ever for the next split, and pumped to kind of get behind our teams and support them and just yell from the rooftops about our teams. You know, like I'm out there on TikTok and Twitter and stuff, and they're all like, "LCP is not a tier 1 region." I'm like,
nah.
Like,
Well,
yes, we are.
That's never gonna
Like,
fucking stop.
Oh,
It
yeah.
pisses me off. I don't know if you saw my socials last year, but I was in
Oh, yeah.
wars
yeah.
every single
Yeah.
international. Well, I remember I made one tweet. Fuck, one of my tweets absolutely popped the fuck off. I can't remember what it was. Oh no, it was Jankos. Jankos made the shittest tier
remember
list
that
I've
one.
seen in my goddamn life, and I quote retweeted it and said something like, "Tell me you haven't watched the league without telling me you haven't watched the league, bro," and it went
I remember the
fucking
one.
nuclear.
Yeah, I remember that
It
one.
was crazy, bro. I have to battle all these freaks every single fucking international. Pisses me off. And
I
then we
remember
just
doing
shit
the
on them
same.
every time.
I remember doing the same back in the LCO days with Chiefs coming into Worlds. I think Dom was like, I haven't seen Chiefs play, but they're the worst team in the league. After Chiefs like near perfect ran the season, I was like, I went on a tirade on Twitter, woke up, and then suddenly everyone was talking about it. I was like, oh shit, what have I started? And then they went winless, so I got fucked over for that.
You got shut on.
Yeah,
See, I got to
But that's the
defend
thing.
CFO.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got the easy one.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? I think as representatives of the LCP that we all are, right? Like
Yeah.
community members, you know, creators, casters. I think it's so important for us to represent it well and not shit on our own league at every opportunity and every moment that we can, right? Yes, you can be constructively critical. And what that is it's, oh, here's the problem, but here is the solution, right? You're not just trying to tear it down. But I mean, me generally, as a person in my nature, I'm definitely more positive than I am negative anyway. So I'm going to be looking for these positives. I'm going to be speaking to those positives. And I mean, Why not? Like, this is our region. These are our teams. Yeah, they're not Osh, but fuck, it's our region. Like, get behind them, back them to tell their stories.
Look, I've done the PCS longer than I ever did anything Oceania, so I get to claim that it is my region, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to. I did the PCS for like, what is it, 3 years? I was like, no, PCS here. My Wikipedia says PCS resident, so.
Hey, we're all set.
Hell yeah.
We're all set.
I've got
Get
one
us
of them
out
now
there.
too.
Yeah. Hey.
But no, I think to add on to what you said, Logan, another important thing is like to bring up our region while not shitting on other people's regions. Because the one thing I made sure never to do over the course of last year was when I was going on about how LCP are the real deal and CFO are actual threats, I would never be like, they're actual threats because FlyQuest are fucking trash and G2 don't even deserve to be an organization anymore. You know, I wouldn't say shit like that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I don't actually really know the relative strength of those regions compared to us. All I can see is what I'm watching in League, but they're versing different teams than we're versing. I know CFO's good, but that doesn't mean they're shit. All I can say is like, you know, CFO are actually good. And then some other person will come and like, oh, how is it a major region? All this shit. It's like, bro, we'll find out at the international. You know, like we'll find out. And I was just lucky enough to have CFO where we would beat them every time. But like that might not happen this year. I'm not sure. I do have faith in them, but just not quite as much as I did last year.
Well, T1 isn't. I mean, we'll have to see going into MSI. So if they don't go to MSI, maybe we actually win a series against like the tier 2 LCK team. I don't know. That'd be cool to see. We got close last time.
BFX.
I
reckon we could beat BFX. I don't know how good that team is or not. It's so hard to judge because
they got Diablo. He's really good.
I'm pretty sure first stand have won. Like first stand's already over. Like I'm pretty sure Gen G's already won it.
Yeah.
So like in my mind, it's sort of.
It's good for me. I'm a Gen G fan. Let's go.
Yeah.
Golden Road on the way.
I like good League of Legends, and Gen G do play good League of Legends. I think they troll draft sometimes, but they've just got the best players in the goddamn world, so it's like whatever.
Yeah.
You know. But like whatever. Yeah, same as last first stand. Everyone came in. HLE's gonna win. HLE won, and it was kind of like the battle for thereafter, right? No, I don't think there's a top esports incident this year round though. I think the LPL is going to do a little better than top did. But like I don't know the relative strength of us compared to other regions. I don't have nearly as much faith though. I will be honest. I don't think like. To be honest, it's like the names we had on CFO, like Doggo and Kaiwing and Junja, were bringing enough experience and skill that I had a lot of faith. There's a lot of skill on Team Secret Wales. There's not a whole hell of a lot of experience. So that's one thing that's like a big difference between them, I think.
It's going to be interesting.
What about you, Mercury?
What do you mean?
What do you think of Team Secret Wales? Where are they going to land in first stand?
And, they're gonna win it. I don't know what you guys are on about. They are going to roll and smoke. Chovy who? I'm sorry, I only know D-Ray. I know Asia Pacific Faker. That's who I know. I reckon we're going to see D-Ray face to face against Hongq again. He's getting his revenge this time. Right? They lost in the finals to him last year.
Hongq will always be Dire's father. I'm sorry. It's just I'm sorry.
No.
It is honestly, true, bro. One team, bro. Hongq and Junja are like Dyer and Histo's dads. You know, like Dyer and Histo want to be Hongq and Junja. I'm sorry, like I'm just calling a spade, but like they could get to the same. Like to be honest, I think it's just like lopsided because of Junja less so than the mid laners. But like, I think Histo can get to where Junja is as a player. I think like his second year ever playing is probably not quite there yet. You know, Junja's already like he won a Worlds. I mean, he was a sub, but he did play for them in the LPL.
It's an asterisk.
He had a lot of experience by this stage, you know. Like he's spent a lot of time getting to where he is, and I think Histo can get there. It's just going to take some time. But for now, I'd be worried about that matchup quite a lot, to be honest. I think that would be a scary one to go head to head with.
Oh, the LPL in general, like it's probably going to be JDG BLG, I imagine. I can't see. I mean, like Weibo's pretty strong. AL is very, very strong. It's basically the same team as last year. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know how JDG won that game. Did you guys watch that series, by the way?
I watched bits and pieces, but yeah, it was crazy.
Bro, we should have been 3-0. Honestly, we should have lost 3-0. It was fucked. It was like the games we won. Yeah, well, like JDG, bro, they've got
Bro thinks he's on the team.
I count them. We count them, bro. That's half the team's Vol Pacific almost. You know, we take those. And Tabe's friends with Chowie, so we'll include him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I don't know how they won that series. I'm gonna be honest, but they were like completely lost. I can't remember what game it was, but Junja was Sejuani anyway. The game was over. They'd lost, and then AL just fucking all took Ghost Cleanse, sprinted it down mid, and lost the game on that one play. Like we were pretty much like the whole base was in fucking tatters, and they entered one play and lost, and then somehow we won the series off the back of it. It was crazy. It was a wild series. But I think AL are better than JDG usually. But yeah, that was that was a wild series.
I don't think
It's
he played,
crazy actually getting to watch
Sejuani.
everything these days. Yeah, he played Sejuani. He was on the
Okay.
Sedge, mate. Put the
Okay, might have been.
Sejuani in the bag.
Okay.
But that's a really good point. If I can touch on that, right? It is crazy being able to watch everything, right? So yes, okay, LCP caster, yes, LCP previous caster and community podcast. But like we love League of Legends, right? And so now with LCP starting 2 hours earlier over previous, we can actually watch like every damn region.
It's
I
a
love it.
blessing.
Except
Yeah.
because that's on at some ungodly hour of the day.
I work
You're-
from home, so I
you-
can catch that.
You've
in the
got
morning.
it better than me. It's like
Yeah, that's
3 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. That's
LEC
true.
I
He's the
can't watch
hardest.
Europe. I can't watch NA.
Well,
I'm
LEC's
cooked.
easy because I'm still awake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your sleep schedule's cooked. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Well,
I wake
my
up and
sleep
like,
schedule's been cooked because of fucking PCS and LCP, man. I used to
Yeah.
start work at 10:30.
yeah, no, that's fair. So we'll
Yeah.
get you on a better time zone eventually. We'll get you over here.
Yeah.
To Perth.
Yeah.
No, I gotta
What's
go
wrong
to
with Perth?
Taiwan. I gotta go to Taiwan. If I'm
Yeah.
going that time zone, it's got to be the right place,
Yeah.
or even 1 hour,
it.
1 hour earlier in Vietnam. Fuck, I loved
Yeah.
Vietnam, except the
Mm.
temperature.
Except
Ooh,
the temperature.
was no good.
Bro, it was like 37% humidity the other day, and my hair just went like that. And I'm like, okay, well maybe this is.
37?
And then I was like, maybe this is what it's gonna be like going into Taipei. So I checked
Nah,
Taipei temperature,
worse.
humidity 87%. What?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yes, you actually walk outside. It's like walking into a bathtub. It was fucked up, man. It was so
I'm gonna
fucked.
start
I'll be
sweating
honest,
bullets like 5 seconds after leaving
Yeah.
a room.
When I was in Taipei, I was smoking. So I'll go out for a smoke, bro. I feel like I lost 3 kgs every cigarette just from sweating. It was fucking nuts.
Hey,
It
we
was
take
so
that.
crazy over there. That's weight loss right there.
Yeah.
Smoking in Taipei.
Yeah, there you go. No, I'm
Doctors
I'm
hate
not-
this one trick.
Yeah.
No, but seriously though, like on to the teams, I do think this is a positive look, right? I think CFO were looking a little rough around the edges in split 1 of last year, particularly Hong Q, obviously a rookie coming in. I think similarly, Team Secret Wales look a little rough at times, but they are far and beyond the most deserving team to represent us.
Yeah.
I think there is absolutely no argument to be made. I would argue that all 5 of them have been best in slot for their roles over the course of this whole year. There could be some arguments to be made, but like in general, they're at least top 2. So I think this is the best team we could possibly be sending, and that is a good thing, because sometimes you don't end up sending the best team. All it takes is one bad best of 5, and I think we kind of see that in A, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
C9 are generally the better team. They lost 1 best of 5, they're not going.
This
So-
Lion roster is kind of strong though. I mean, Saint. I think D-Ray is probably better than Saint, but like Dokler in the top lane's a little bit scary.
Yeah, big docs. No, they've got a good team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
Big
they're a bad
Jokes is
team.
good.
And they got
I don't
Isles.
think
We
we're
go
bad
sharing
team.
representation. Let's go.
I'm a PCS. I'm from the PCS. I got Warhorse.
Oh
He's
yeah.
my representation.
Yeah.
And Kaiwing's in Brazil, so we'll include him.
Yeah.
Every
Super
time,
Bowl now. Yeah,
every
that's
time
our
on the
region
teaser,
too.
like before the series starts, like the opening thing that they do at the end at the start of every day, I just see
I
that
made a
video of Kaiwing going, "I'll see you in Brazil," and I'm like, "Yeah,
In the stands, bro, in the crowd.
Yeah.
oh no, poor Kaiwing, we got to bring him back."
I feel like that's a bad segment to make. Like this brother has been eliminated, and he's like, "I'll see you in Brazil." Bro's watching. He's watching the same way I'm watching.
Yeah.
The
No, it's,
comfort of his
it's
couch.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
awesome to see, and I think this is a slight tangent and slightly off topic as well.
This whole
I just
episode
thought
has
that.
been. It's
This
fine.
whole
Yeah,
it's
your
all
show
been
will
chaos
allow it.
from start to finish. So we might as well keep it up. But looking at like arenas and all that kind of stuff, like Hong Kong sold out for the LCK final. There were like 10,000 people in the crowd. That was crazy.
is going.
What's it called LEC
Was
finals.
it 40? Or did
I think it was
maybe I'm
10K.
wrong.
I think it was 10K. I'm not sure.
Right, okay.
But yeah, LEC was packed out on that Sunday. I know people were saying on the Friday that like, oh, there's no one in the crowd, but it was like it started at 2 p.m. right, so people are still at work. But the finals was packed out, right? And obviously,
Yeah.
I think like LCS and CBLOL had, and we did as well in our like Riot arenas. But like, I was worried coming into this year with like, you know, most of Worlds being in the same location that perhaps things were starting to like downsize a little bit. But it's good to see that like there is still, especially with Hong Kong here in Asia Pacific, there is still a lot of passion and love from the fans about this game.
Yeah, I mean, you see how upset people are that they chose a 140-seater for the first stand tournament in one of the most passionate regions in the world. It seems pretty crazy that, you know, you have the opportunity of having a live broadcast or live stadium thing.
They would pack out like a
Brazil.
40K venue.
Have you seen like CS or Rainbow Six
it's
events that
crazy.
go to Brazil? It's fucking
Even
nuts,
like
bro.
Masters in
Everything's gone.
Santiago at the moment is packed out. Like that crowd's crazy.
And instead of just having more seats, we've gone to the Riot studio where, you know, we've cleared out a few desks from the Riot employees to put some computers up. 140 people can fit in, bro. That's like a hotel lobby. Are we for real?
Yeah. It definitely does not feel good because, I mean, as someone who's never gone to Brazil, all I ever hear about and all I ever watch is just how mad passionate they are about any and all sports that they get behind. And I did see the tweet from Riot today being like, oh, we're keeping it at the 140 for flexibility options. And it's like, there's no flexibility with 140. There would have been flexibility with 14,000 or 140,000. I genuinely think they could fill a stadium bigger than Worlds just because they're so passionate about the sport. They're going to turn up in droves. And there's going to be so many sad members of the community because they're not able to get in at all. Like, they're going to have the biggest watch parties in the world around Brazil to fit them all.
Right, and one thing that concerns me, right, is like a big thing is we're going to get an APAC tournament for first stand next year. Bro, what if they just go and choose some outback, like the level 1 of the Riot office in Singapore? Like, oh, fuck that, man. Make it a big event, bro. I went to Da Nang. They filled that shit out. Bro.
I was about to say, I think this is good for us. I think this is secretly good for us because we're learning, right? This is the second year of first stand, right? Going into year 3 here in Asia Pacific, I reckon we could sell out a pretty big arena, right? Maybe not Oceania yet. Maybe not Oceania yet.
Ever. I'm gonna be honest.
Hey,
that ain't happening.
Southeast Asia for sure.
I'm
but like,
Optus Stadium. We're selling that out for Worlds in 2035 or some shit.
keep dreaming, mate.
We're not bringing the fucking Perth Scorchers in for a League of Legends game, bud.
Hey, we've got a representative. We've got a representative.
But the backlash, right?
Question mark of Mundo Dodgeball? I didn't check. See how that went.
I won. I won both.
I think, though, that the backlash that Riot is seeing over this Brazilian situation with only 140 members, it surely has to prove to them that First Stand needs to be bigger. Yeah. And I thought that's where you were going with it's good for us, is that when it does come around to APAC, that they're going to go with something at least, hopefully double, but I would like to see like 1,000 to 2,000. I think that's far more reasonable. But if they're putting it in Vietnam, and if a VCS team makes it, which hopefully they do, it'd need to be even bigger again.
There's so many places they could hold it and would sell out, right? They could do something in Indonesia, right? In like Jakarta or something. They could do something in Thailand easily. I mean, like they did, was it Masters in
You're not going to want to choose somewhere that doesn't actually have an active league.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, but I think
it's always going to be.
It's probably going to be Vietnam for year 1.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's probably going to be Vietnam for year 1. But I think hopefully as the league begins to grow, and as we're seeing, you know, more like the LJL is starting up, the VCS is starting up, PCS is, I think, on its way starting up. Hopefully moving into
Oceania?
like next. What?
It's the Oceania starting up, man.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of which, let's go on the tangent. TOR's starting up.
Yeah, that's true. But more importantly, it's like, okay, to tell the truth, like obviously I was over in Da Nang for the finals. What days was it? It was Saturday, Sunday, right? The Saturday, which was Team Secret Wales against PSG, was pretty
empty. They're like it wasn't empty. Like I would have, if I had to guess, I'd say like 800 to 1,000 people there, and the finals was full. So I think like there is always going to be a different numbers you see between like the playoff events and the regular events. Plus, like if T1 make it, if T1's playing versus if C9 is playing up against whoever. Like if it's teams that people don't care about from that region, they're not really going to watch that much. But I think that might be different for Brazil because they tend to like even you watch the CS:GO majors again, like right, like it doesn't matter what stage of the event it is, it doesn't matter what regions are playing or what teams are playing, bro. That stadium is packed. So I think like it might not work the same in Asia Pacific. I think this is a huge missed opportunity in Brazil. Is basically what I'm going with this. I don't know if you'd have the same amount of passion coming out of the other regions outside of their dedicated fan group versus Brazil, which for my eyes kind of just they're big fans of just the sport in general, which is the big difference.
Well, we've got 1 year basically to prep to get things ready here in Asia Pacific. I think we can sell out a pretty good stadium if they decide to go. I hope they do decide to go for something big. Maybe we haven't had an event in Japan in a while. I imagine for first stand it's probably going to be Vietnam. However, Masters Tokyo, was it last year or the year before, was crazy. So I don't think it's out of the question that that Japan is on the list that they're considering. And they probably know more than we do at this point. They absolutely do.
They do.
Yeah. No, we know everything. We know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited regardless for first stand for the teams that have qualified. Like I said before, it's good to see Isles back on a winning team. It's good to see Dokla. We'll count him as an Oceanic player for his time on Sin Gaming all those years ago. I have my jersey somewhere around here. But no, it's good to see them pop off. It's good to see them win. I watched a little bit of that series. Did not go as I expected, but that's NA. We don't care about that here. But heading into damn, I've got nothing else to talk about. We covered everything. You guys sped through that while my mic was having trouble.
Yeah. I have
You're
a
an
problem.
expert.
I have a problem. Love the sound of my own voice.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We gotta shut him up
Honestly.
sometimes.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
Look, I got Riftbound to buy, my guys. I'm
Ooh,
more
yeah.
than happy with this.
Yeah.
No, it's.
Damn, we're buying more cards.
I'm lucky
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
love
gotten
cards.
into that. That seems like it could be a problem for me. I was big into Yu-Gi-Oh when I was young, so I was like, I'm not falling into that same trap again. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I've got like packs on my desk and stuff.
I got cut the stuff on my car to fix. I got a new phone that I got to pay off. I got all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't spend it on cards and all that.
Well, do we have any sort of closing thoughts about the LCP season then? And any closing thoughts on Split 1? Anything that we haven't touched on yet?
I think overall.
I'll say.
Oh yeah, you go.
Oh yeah. No, you go. I insist.
Oh, okay. I think my assessment of Split 1, coming into it, I wasn't sure what to think overall, right? We lost a huge well of talent, right, in Junja, Honkyu, and Kaiwing. And obviously, there were some other changes as well. Garm, I think, disappointed overall, but I think overall I was pretty happy with how the split turned out. I think there were a lot of changes, and especially on the Riot side, they were incredibly helpful and accommodating with everything co-streaming related, and just in general, I think that the show did well. I saw from the arena cam, there were pretty good crowds on almost every single day, which is good considering the earlier start time, right? That was my big worry was, maybe there won't be as many people there because they've got work and they won't be able to show up. But from what I saw, I'm pretty happy with Split 1. And I think if this is a model to go off and if this is the standard we're seeing in Split 1, I'm quite excited for Split 2. And Split 2 is going to be better for us because MSI is in Korea, so same time zone, basically. And even going to Split 3, I think our teams can really improve and make a dent on the international stage.
I think for me, this split has been, in my opinion, a lot lower in quality than most of last year in terms of just the gameplay. But that is not necessarily specific to the LCP. I think that's kind of a global thing we're seeing, where teams just seem to not really have a grasp of League of Legends at the moment. There's a lot, a lot of games that are up 4K gold and we've lost or whatever. But I think that's really true in our league, where it's like while it's good not knowing who's going to win coming into every series, it's also a little concerning in the way that it's hard to have a lot of confidence. And I think that's really just displayed by pretty much every team, including Team Secret Wales for most of the regular season, of just their inability to cleanly close out games, or even cleanly start off games, but then manage to cleanly close it out after some incidents occur every now and then. So I think like that is a sort of a fall from grace in comparison to last year, where we saw Talon and CFO come into the year looking relatively clean. Of course, there were some hiccups here and there, but I think in general was a higher ceiling, as you put earlier, last year. But I'm hoping that this is just sort of the nature of the patch, and we'll find out more like about that at first stand. But I think that is my sort of hesitance in having absolute confidence, is that it has seemed to be lower in quality in that regard. Much higher in quality for entertainment, though, that being said.
I really think with Split 1 being a bit of a rougher start, because we do have to remember so much changed from 25 to 26. No more Atakan. So, jungle objective timings was changed. The minion spawn waves a full 35 seconds earlier. The home guard, the towers. There was still a serious learning curve for pretty much every single region. And I still think some of the slower teams to adapt to that, we're seeing that. But I think with the first stand, I think it'll be gone by the sort of start early Split 2. And I think we'll really start to see quality across the world elevate seriously, probably around halfway through Split 2, once they've put it all to bed. As Riot said today or yesterday, there's only going to be one new champion all year as well. So there won't be any... Yeah, there won't be any meta shakeups there. And they're releasing a small patch for 26.5 for first stand, just some sort of pro level fine tuning. So yeah, I'm expecting some really, really good games, and I'm expecting some improvement in Split 2.
I can't wait to see Shyvana, the rework here in the LCP. I think there's there's a few junglers that could absolutely do some work on that from what I've seen. But yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, Split 2 is going to be a longer split over. I think it's about 2 months.
9 weeks.
Is the split?
Yeah.
9?
Yeah, there's 1 week
and then
break
Split
in between.
3 is like
8 weeks of gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Split 3 is like all the way through. Like there's like no breaks. It's like a month. It's a very short split heading into
6 weeks.
Worlds. Yeah,
it's 6, 8, 6.
Because there's that small break for EWC, and then they're right back to it after MSI.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm pretty excited overall for this year. I think hope is the big word I have. I have hope for this region, and I hope that this hope is not dashed against the rocks like it was last year against KT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They turned out to be quite the team, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah. I have hope too, but again, it's just less hope than I did last year, I think.
That's
is the thing. And it's kind of like what is that? I don't know, coming down from the CFO high, if you will.
Yeah.
Like where last year was just so consistently successful that like if I have those hopes again, I'm scared of hurting myself. Is kind of what it feels like.
I haven't learned that fear yet. I'm all in. Just
you just haven't been involved in Oceanian esports for long enough, buddy.
I am. I just haven't learned any of the lessons.
Naively hopeful. We'll call it.
Naive and hopeful.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
I'm quite excited. But like we mentioned, first stand is 16th through 22nd of the month, and then there's about a week and a half ish break until the season begins again. I think it's the 4th. I think it starts on Saturday.
That's the 3rd. I thought it was Friday, the 3rd of April.
Should be Friday, the 3rd of April.
I was gonna say it should be Friday. But the website maybe because it's the website and it's American, so it goes off American time zones. That's probably it. But it starts the start of April. We're gonna take.
Then it would say Thursday.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Bro's gone the wrong direction with America right now.
What? Oh yeah. Wait, no. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it will be back at the start of April. We're going to take a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast until the 31st of March, and we're going to cover. We're going to recap everything from First Stand, looking into Split 2 and everything that goes on there. Crazy to think we're this far in already. This year's just flown by. And then, the Split 2 is going to be, like you mentioned, 8 or 9 weeks of pure competition, and we'll have 2 teams to send internationally this time around. So I'm super excited to get into it. But are there any closing thoughts as we take this little bit of a break for the
closing thoughts round 2?
Yeah.
No, we did closing thoughts already. Right. I have no more thoughts.
Yeah, no more thoughts, just action. Let's go, Team Secret Wales. I'm all behind them.
Yep, that's right.
Let's go, Team Secret Wales.
They will never disappoint me.
Sounds like they're winning grand final then. But thank you so much for having me on the
That's
show.
a threat. They will never disappoint me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This was a crazy and chaotic episode overall. I apologize to everyone at home for for what this was.
We've even had 3 outros.
Yeah,
3
this
3 outros.
Fever dream of an episode.
Imagine, Logan, you're closing out the LCP. You're like, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you all tomorrow. It's been an awesome show, guys.
I've had a rough day, man. I've had a rough day.
Today, and we'll see you for the games tomorrow. But what a day it's been today, huh?
I've had a rough day, okay? It has been very, very busy and draining at this point. Hope you guys have a good night and take care. See ya.
You too.